Well, hello there and welcome to issue number 102. This issue is all about the Sagittarian horse. As you can see on the caption prior to the video, those are all the dates you have to be in this Western and Eastern Zodiac combination. Any questions and any comments from this video, please feel free to drop me a line on here or a personal message, whatever you feel like doing. All the feedback is really appreciated, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, okay, so we've got on the western side we've got the Sagittarius, and the eastern side we've got the horse. Now this is the original crazy horse. You know, this is wow. You know, if we look at it, if we start as a child, you may feel as though, do they listen? Are they listening? They're completely free-spirited, capable of utter brilliance. That's got to be said. So you really, you know, when you hear of these children that regress, and they can play the piano at 4, 3, play golf shots, etc., whatever, you know, this could be this sign, very highly likely, because they are capable of moments of brilliance. People don't know where they come from. It shocks teachers, parents, siblings alike, because they're such a free spirit, and I think it's they allow the utter energy that we all need. We've all got this energy, but they allow it to just move through so freely. They're not tainted by any rules or any restrictions. So that's why I think, personally, plus, you know, the horse is, you know, ultra clever and a very talented sign as it is. And you couple that with the Sagittarian, you know, it's so strong, but it's so strong with the freedom, the flux of energy that passes through. And this is where I do believe this sign is like they're like a magician, and yeah, you won't tame them, and I wouldn't dream of trying to tame these children. You know, in classroom, just try and explain to them, you know, for the benefit of others, you know, to keep their exuberance sometimes down, you know, to respect, because sometimes we find later on, as they go, you know, into their teens and into their early 20s, they are capable of, yes, utter acts of amazing generosity, but utter acts of real selfishness as well, which we're going to touch on, because sometimes in their world, that's all they see. They see is what's fluxing in their world, and you really just have to reiterate that there's other people in the room, or there's, you know, other people to consider. So, you know, just keep gently, you know, pushing it onto them, you know, in the classroom, etc., on the sports field, you know, just saying, look, you've got to think of everybody here, you know, just gently, because if you try and curb the natural energy of this child, you could make somebody very remorse and very unhappy, because they need this, you know, they need to be a free thinker, they need to have these, you know, shows of talent, because otherwise, you know, you can't stifle them, and it's wrong to, because they should be just understood. And you'll find out as they go along, hoping that they are more aware of the people around them. They love friends, so, you know, sometimes they can be very blunt, sometimes they can say the wrong thing, but then they can turn up out of the blue when that friend is down and make them feel, you know, £1 million. You know, they're very generous. They can think of their friends massively one day, but then completely forget about them for a week, and, you know, it throws them a little bit into chaos, their friends, but they do value the utter brilliance and originality of this sign and this combination, that you know, you're going to find the forgiving ones, and also the tolerant ones that go, no, you know, this friend is worth, you know, so many. So let's hope they get through the college years and the university years. And as I say, I stress, you know, as parents, just do it gently, do this gently, nurture just ever so gently, because you could have a genius on your hands, so we don't really want to force that out of them and think, right, you're restricted in this fence or in this way of thinking, because, you know, they are the original hippie in that sense, where, you know, it's free. Let everybody be free. And the people who will, you know, they socialise and mix with, well, they feel an utter freedom as well, because they feel, you know, I'm not restricted in this friendship, so it can work very well, very beneficial for everybody, but they've just got to give it a little bit of space, and I say curb the maybe the feeling or the need that you want to say, look, calm down, slow down, don't be so crazy, just don't do that. Okay, let's get to them in their job. Well, I really suggest that they work on their own, because trying to work, unless you've got an understanding boss that puts you into the ideas places, says, what, you go off over there and you come up with something fantastic. You've got all the time in the world. Those bosses there aren't very many of them, and so I really advise the skills that the horse has to work on their own, and so it allows them that free time, and it allows them a lot of scope, because if you try and fit them into a constructed area, you're not going to get the best out of them. They're going to be clock watching, they're going to be basically bored, and that's when they get a little bit tetchy, more remorseful, and they wander about getting everybody fidgety. So it's not very wise if we pen them in there. If we're going to put them in the ideas area, and you have got an understanding boss or team leader, or make these team leader. I know it sounds a bit eccentric in that way, but by them being at the top, putting a bit of responsibility on them, you know, maybe that the rest of the floor or the rest of the wherever you're working, might feed off that sort of initiative and that sort of, you know, that brilliance, and they might think, well, you know, we've got a little bit of leeway here, so it could bring the best out of your workers, or it could possibly not. So we've got to really handle this Sagittarian horse with care, but I really prefer them to be working on their own, and whatever they choose to do, they're going to be great. So they're going to find their forte, their area, and it could be anywhere. It really generally could, but I would say, you know, get involved on your own, go out there on your own, because you're only going to be unhappy doing your run-of-the-mill stuff, and it's not you, so let's avoid that. So as we're coming through, so we're looking at relationships. Well, the Sagittarian horse, as we spoke about, can have completely self-obsessed days, selfish days. It's not out of a malice, but they could not be the most loyal of partners. So, but then again, they may not even be embarking on relationships in the early days. So, you know, if you're under the impression that maybe you had something special, then I would try and sort of reanalyse that, because unless they really say it, then they're quite capable of doing exactly what they want when they want it. And hey, you know the rules, we're all grown-ups. That's the way they look at this. So it can be very hurtful for the sensitive ones out there, and they can generally fall out with a lot of people like that, but they don't realise they're hurting anyone. They think you're both playing the game equally, so they don't want to mollycoddle anyone, and they don't want to feel sort of that they're restricted to one partner. But when we get them into this zone of maybe one to settle down, I think it's going to be a later 20s or early 30s, maybe even later, then we have to find the right one for them. Now, I have to see the horses with tigers, because tigers pose the challenge where the horse isn't going to run amok, because the tiger will look for fairness, plus they will thrive off the unpredictability of the horse, and will also give the horse a challenge where the horse may keep them in mind a lot longer than anybody else. So let's go for the tigers. I really do advise that for the Sagittarian horse. So let's go for the Aries tiger, the Aquarius tiger, the Leo tiger, and the Libra tiger. All very, very good. We can also try the dogs because, okay, the dogs are very sensitive, and you're thinking, is this a mismatch? Well, no, because if anyone's got the patience and the dedication and the caring attitude to just be by the horse's side in their fluctuations, then the dog has. There's no one better at caring for somebody and genuine, 1000% selflessness of the dog, and with sometimes the selfishness of the horse, that balance up quite nicely actually, and it makes the horse a bit more considerate and maybe thinking, hold on a minute, let me think a little bit deeper. Plus the dog won't want to curb the horse's natural need for expression. If they, whatever talent they've got, which they're going to have, the dog will just nurture that along very quietly and very strongly, and they'll always be by their side, and they do jump to the horse's defence very, very often. So let's look for the Leo dog, the Libra dog, the Aquarius dog, and the Aries dog. Wonderful, wonderful matches. The ones we have to avoid have got to be rats, and I've spoken about this. The unpredictable nature of the horse. Okay, the rats can be a little selfish sometimes, as we know, with their possessions, and when they hole up in the house and they've got everything they want, they don't want to lose it. With the horse, they fear that the worst is going to happen because of the crazy nature of the horse. There's not that much trust, but with the horse, they always pull off something miraculous. So it's unfounded for the rat, but the rat can't help feeling as though they're going to have a nervous breakdown. And so it very much is not very compatible, and then there may be restrictions put on the horse which the horse can't deal with. So no go with the horse and the rats, absolutely not. If we look at health concerns, well, as we've spoken about the Sagittarian horses, sometimes complete self-indulgence. We're going to have to look at alcohol, sexual transmitted, going on holiday without having all the proper jabs. They are sometimes crazy and very forgetful, and plus quite self-absorbed sometimes, so we really have to look at them, and maybe eating very, very many rich foods, because they may just enjoy them and they don't give a damn about a diet. So just be careful, and they need a strong doctor. They need a strong doctor to say, look, if you don't stop doing this, then this is going to happen. They might listen to you on the 50th or 60th time of saying it. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this issue, and please join me for the next one. Thank you.